Yes lads, what is going on, and welcome to the Nike Zoom Streak 7 review. I know you guys have been waiting for this review for months now. I can't remember when I got these specifically. I think it was around April, around my birthday. And yeah, I posted up on my Instagram story that I'm going to be making this review, but I actually never got around to it. This is actually going to be my first shoe review. So yeah, I'm looking forward to basically a little breakdown is that. The first thing I'm going to talk about is basically just the basics of the shoe. Second thing is going to be like what I done in the shoe. And then just, yeah, a little bit more information about the shoe later on in the video. And also a few clips and a few photos that I have of the shoe as well. So, just to start things off really, I just want to show you the actual shoe itself. As I said, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know what the shoe looks like, well, the one I purchased, and yeah, when I got it. So, it is, the colour I picked is like this reddy pinkish orange colour. I'm not too sure red, pink or orange, but yeah, it is a really nice colourway in my opinion. I like the white tick with it, and it's just unbelievably lightweight, and I'll get all like specific now in a minute when it comes to weight and the drop of the sole and everything, but just off the bat, the way the shoe looks, I think it just looks really cool. And it's also very breathable, as you can see on the front here, on the side here, and also on this side there are little kind of holes, little crevices maybe in the shoe, which just makes it very breathable, because you do use the shoe for fast work, so your feet do get quite warm and sweaty in the shoe. So that breathableness in the shoe is just really helpful when you're doing the fast kind of stuff. So yeah, in my opinion, it's a very good looking shoe. And you can see on the bottom here, it's actually very durable. I've seen a lot of reviews and a lot of people talking about the shoe saying it's not very durable. After doing a lot of running, and especially a lot of running on like the roads and on concrete and on the tarmac, this shoe, it hasn't ripped or worn away at all. So it's a really good sign in a shoe, and especially a shoe like this, where this shoe cost me €90, about €90. So you want to be getting your money's worth, and not only with performance but with durability, you're definitely getting your performance worth here. And just real quick, do you see in the shoe here this like this hard plastic bit, the brighter bit, I should say, in the middle of the shoe? That is actually a plate, like a carbon fiber plate. Not a carbon fiber plate, but like it's a plate in the middle of the shoe, just to help with that responsiveness to the quickness of the shoe, and support as well. And that's a really good feature to see in the shoe. And this shoe does come in many different colors and designs. It comes in a different material as well. I'm not too sure what material it is. This is more of a knit material, like a fly knit material, like the Alpha Flies. But yeah, it is a really, 1, light shoe, 2, durable, and 3, very breathable, and 4, very fast. So I'll get more specific now in a moment, but I just wanted to say that off the bat. And yeah, a negative I have for the tongue is, as I said, it's lightweight, it's thin. There's also some of them holes in it as well here. But just one negative I have for the shoe, for this shoe's tongue, is it's the length. It does not come up very far, no matter how much I pull on it to try and get it up. As I said, it is stitched to the forefoot of the shoe here, so I can't really pull it up that much. And why that is a negative for me personally, so you can see this is as far as the tongue goes, okay? And as you can see, the laces, the holes, actually go past the tongue. I'm tying my lace. The laces sometimes slip onto the top of my foot. When I tie them tight, they slip onto the top of my foot, and it's just rubbing against my foot. And if I don't position the laces properly when I tie them, it rubs against my foot, and I just don't have that freedom / comfort for when I'm tying my lace, because you're kind of always, well, personally, I was always thinking about the tongue and trying to keep the laces on it so it's not rubbing up against my foot. So that is one negative I have for this shoe. One thing is, personally, the positives definitely do outweigh the negatives in this shoe for me. When it comes to the lightweight, the responsiveness, and the breathability and durability, as you can see in the shoe, they do definitely outweigh the negatives for me. That is pretty much, looking around the shoe here, that's pretty much the only negative I have for this shoe. Another thing is, which I'll talk a little bit about more later on the video, because it does impact some parts of the sessions when I was doing the shoe. I actually got a blister straight away when I start wearing these shoes. Now, that isn't the Nike Zoom Streak 7 specifically. As a lot of you may know, when breaking into new shoes, you do end up getting blisters until you, as I said, break into them a little bit more. But apart from that blister, which was a bit annoying, but as I said, isn't specifically to do with the Nike Zoom Streak 7s, the tongue is pretty much much the only thing that is a negative for me, and it's not a big major negative, but it is something to be aware about when purchasing the shoe, because I didn't know about it. Don't get me wrong, it wouldn't have put me off the shoe, but just personally it is a bit annoying. So the first session I done in these shoes was a minute on, minute off for 24 minutes. Now when I first got the Nike Zoom Streak 7s, I got these on a website called All Tricks, and yeah, they do like not only running shoes, like Gaelic boots, soccer boots, like running spikes. They do a lot of sports gear, not only shoes as well. This is where I got these, and it was all in like 38s, 39s, kind of metric system when it comes to shoe sizes. So the shoe that I ended up receiving was a UK 7.5. I thought I was ordering an 8. Now don't get me wrong, they fit me perfectly. If I'm gonna get long time out with them due to the size and not due to the durability, I'm not 100% sure. Personally, I would go, when it comes to buying these shoes, maybe a little bit size bigger, and not a whole size bigger, maybe a half size bigger, because these do come in half sizes, as I got these in a 7.5, just because of the blister situation. Obviously, if you do go a half size bigger, you may be a little bit more prone to getting a blister due to maybe a little bit more movement in the shoe. But just for the longevity stuff, it is quite a narrow shoe. So if you have a narrow foot, definitely do try and get maybe a half size bigger, because I do have a narrow foot. And if you have a wide foot, definitely do try go a half size bigger, because it is quite a narrow shoe. As I was talking about, my first session in this was a minute on, minute off session for 24 minutes. Now, in an episode of the podcast, every time basically I used these, I spoke about it in the podcast, and yeah, this was a solid session. I did get a blister in my first session in these shoes, and I could feel it coming on. It wasn't really bad in my first session, obviously, because I could just feel it coming on, but yeah, I could feel it nonetheless. So in that first session, I covered 5.27k. I don't want to talk too much in depth about the sessions, because obviously I do that in the podcast. It was my first session breaking into them, and it was when I could really feel the blister coming on. That session was actually on a Thursday, and for the Sunday run, I ended up using these, because if you guys aren't aware, yes, they're light and fast, but they're also marathon shoes. They're actually anything up from a 5k to a marathon. Now, I know a lot of people have resorted to using flats on the track, and I have too. I'll talk a little bit about that now in a minute. But these actually can be worn from anything up for 5k to a marathon, to a half marathon, to a 10k. I heard that 5k is the lowest that some people will go for these, but for speed sessions on the track, and even the longer stuff on the track, definitely do try these, because I'll talk more about this session in a moment, but I did end up using these on my first track session back with the team after quarantine. But yeah, going back to the 60-minute run, I ended up doing 11.26k in these. They did feel really good, fast and lightweight. The Hokas that I'm rocking now at the moment, the Hoka Clifton 6s, can feel a bit slow, heavy and sluggish at times. Obviously they aren't as responsive as these, because they're more for support. But wearing these on a long run was very comfortable and not very fast, but very responsive, and it did definitely feel good wearing these on that run. Now, when I got these shoes, I did mention that I wanted to do a 5k time trial or some sort of fast time trial in them before I made a review on them, because I kind of wanted to cover every aspect of them, and I do definitely feel like I did. I ran on the track in these, I done long runs in them, I done hard sessions, and I also done a race type tempo / time trial. So yeah, I definitely do feel like I covered basically most of the terrain that these shoes can partake in, so I'm definitely happy with that. But back to the 5k time trial, just how I felt first of all on the time trial. I'll talk a bit about the time trial now in a minute, but how these felt on the time trial, they felt absolutely amazing. Now, the time I got in this time trial doesn't do the shoes justice. Even though it was a PB, and it was a major PB for me at the time, the shoe, first of all, I had a blister. So I had a plaster on, I had Sudocrem on, which did add not significantly to weight and squeezing into the shoe, but it did play a little bit of a factor in that. Second of all, it was a time trial, so there was no other athletes and there was no spectators to cheer me on and push me through the race. And also, it was a blistering hot day, if you remember me talking about that in an episode of the podcast. It was a really hot day. So there are three pretty significant factors to play into the time that these shoes got me to. But getting me like a minute PB, I'll take that any day, and it was 100% down to the shoes, and let me tell you why. The reason it was down to the shoes is because, as you know, over quarantine when I was training on my own, I did many 5Ks, and you could say that I just felt good on the day. But in the Hokas, when I didn't really know too much about shoes, in the Hokas, which are by no means a fast, responsive or snappy shoe, I ended up getting like a 22-23 minute, and I just didn't feel fast in them. From then going on to the Nike Zoom Streak 7's, to get a 18 minutes 48 seconds was a significant difference. So I'm really happy with how they performed in that department. I really felt like I was going faster on that day. And yeah, maybe a factor of it is that I felt better, and a factor of it is that I had a bit more training under the belt, but not a whole minute PB. Not a minute, less than a minute, but my last 5K PB before that was in 19 minutes 12 seconds. So yeah, the shoes definitely played a major part in that. After that, when I was down back with the team, we done a 10x400 meter track workout, and I want to really jump straight onto the track, jump straight into my spikes straight away. I wanted to help my legs adjust to the track once again a little bit more, so that's why I used the Nike Zoom Streak 7's. Now, compared to some of the other lads on my team that were using spikes that have been training the past few weeks on the track, because I wasn't able to go out to the sessions due to the 5K radius at that time, they were in spikes. Can't back that they're better than spikes. I just can't. Spikes, obviously you get the traction, the grip, and the lightweight and speed. I just can't back that they're better on the track. Now, maybe if you're doing your first 5K on the track, first 10K on the track, or like me, you're just getting back onto the track after a break, definitely throw these on. And also for speed work, the spikes, once again, take it there. Any of them categories, if you fall into any of them categories, first 5K, first 10K, or first session back on the track in a while, throw on the Nike Zoom Streak 7's, because they definitely will help you in that department. Don't be wearing any neutral or long running shoe, because it just won't do you justice on the track. Pick up a pair of these Nike Zoom Streak 7's, or any flats that you have. The Nike Zoom Streak 6's are even going to do you better justice than any other neutral or long run shoe. Yeah, to round all that off, the Nike Zoom Streak 7's will beat the spikes for me when it comes to the track, but you know, that's not what they were meant to do. So for the performance on that day, I would take it no matter what. I was averaging maybe 75 seconds for each rep for 10x400, so yeah, I will take that any day of the week. Moving on to I done a 4x3 minute on session. This was this on my own? I'm pretty sure this was on my own, because yeah, I wasn't able to go out with the team at the time, so I done this 4x3 minute session on my own, and yeah, they worked very well, worked wonders again in that session. I did do a lot of like minute on fartlek sessions in these over quarantine when I was on my own, and yeah, they did do me justice in them. I ended up covering 3.88k in that 4x3 minute session, so yeah, that was definitely a solid session. The last thing I done in these, or the last session I done in the Nike Zoom Streak 7's, was a 15 minute tempo. This session when my coach couldn't make it to training, so we ended up having to do our Saturday sessions at home, and he told us to do a 15 minute tempo, and that is exactly what I done. I didn't feel great on the day, and it wasn't the best session overall, but the Zoom Streak 7's, once again, they would have done me a lot better than the Hokas or any other long distance or neutral shoe. Just as I mentioned a lot of times, the snappiness, the responsiveness, the lightweight, breathability, and this plate. I actually didn't know they had this plate in them. I'm not sure if it is a carbon fibre plate, but it is a plate nonetheless, and it does give me that responsiveness, the durability as well. And also, I do stand by look good, feel good, and when I have these Nike Zoom Streak 7's on, I definitely look good and I definitely feel good. On that 15 minute tempo, I ended up going 3.76k, which, as I mentioned, isn't the best, but if I feel like I'd done that session again in the Nike Zoom Streak 7's, I definitely would have done a lot better. So just to finish off with a few stats maybe about the Nike Zoom Streak 7's, they weigh 6.9 ounces in a men's UK 7.5, and that is equivalent to 196 grams once again in a men's 7.5. When I was looking at these on the Nike store, they're currently not available on the Nike store, but I didn't pick them up there. I picked them up on a website called Alltricks. I'll leave the link to their website down in the description if you want to pick up a pair of Nike Zoom Streak 7s. This video isn't sponsored, or any other shoe. It's also the heel drop, so the heel counter from the forefoot all the way back, so from the heel all the way up to the forefoot of the Zoom Streak 7s is an 8mm drop. But yeah, it is a pretty neutral shoe in that remarks. But just like all your spikes, all your flats, there isn't much of a drop, unlike your Alpha Flies or your Vapor Flies, or even some of the Hoka shoes like the Rincons or the Carbon X's. You don't have that in the Zoom Streak 7s, just because they're meant to be flat, fast. Even with this 8mm drop, it is still very fast and responsive. So yeah, I have to give them credits there. So guys, I hope you did enjoy this review of the Nike Zoom Streak 7s, the first ever shoe review on the channel. I definitely enjoyed making it. If this video has made you make up your mind on what shoe you want to pick up for your next pair of running flats, 100% I will go by the Nike Zoom Streak 7s. I know this is the first pair of running flats that I've ever owned. Just going off, kind of taking my whole knowledge of running shoes and knowledge of shoes that I had in the past. These shoes, just, you won't go wrong in them. The only con is the tongue. Other than that, very snappy, lightweight and fast. So I will leave links down in the description to Alltricks too, if you're looking to pick up a pair of these yourself. Hope you guys enjoyed. As I said, definitely recommend the Nike Zoom Streak 7s. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.